All right, everybody, I'm back. I'm back with another video. Opendoor Technology. It's the weekend. Right now, it's Sunday. Tomorrow is Monday, and the stock market is finally open. You know, if you're a stock market person, right, and you can't wait for Monday. If you're not a stock market person, you don't like Mondays. But if you love the stock market and you can't wait for the stock market to open, Monday is almost your favorite day, right? Tomorrow's Monday, and we're going to see what's going to happen with Opendoor Technology. I've been checking a lot of news sources, and I haven't seen that much. I did find one article, but it's not anything big. But I will go over it because we have seen the chart already. But we'll look at the chart one more time. Then I go over the news article, and it's going to be back. It's going to be back. Love making these videos about Opendoor. All right, here's the chart. All right, here we go. I'll go over this briefly because I did go over it on Friday. If you've seen my video on Friday. So 15 minutes look good, but 15 minutes is a short timeline to trade. It could probably come up a little bit, maybe to 675 on Monday, but it doesn't mean it's going to keep going up because it's a 15-minute time range. On the hourly, the RSI is not looking too bad either. Not looking too bad either. RSI, the MACD looks like it may come down a little bit, but it could recover depending on how much volume we get. If we get a lot of buying volume, this MACD could reset a little bit and can start going up. See how this is. You see how the MACD right here is going down in the green area right here. See this green? And then it's going right here. And then it's going toward the red. But if we get out of buying volume, this red right here could reverse. Instead of the red doing this, it could start turn to green again if we get out of buying volume. So hourly not bad. The daily chart is still pumping up. Still RSI looks good. The MACD, definitely getting to the overbought area. It's way up here. Look at it skyrocketing. It's going straight up almost. The RSI is not too bad, but the MACD is pretty high. If you compare it to when it pumped up here, you see where it's at, and now the MACD is way up here. That's really, really high. So I think at some point we're going to have some profit taking. I don't know when, but sooner the better, I guess, right? To get it out the way, because at some point it's going to have to come down a little bit so we can go back up again on the daily chart. The weekly, same thing. MACD is going straight up. RSI is almost getting to the overbought area as well. So long term, it looks like at some point we're going to have to take some profit and slow down a little bit just so we can consolidate and go up nice and steady. But, anything can happen because this stock is very fluid. News can pop up at any time about a CEO. News can pop up at any time about some investor buying a lot of shares. Anything can happen with this stock. Anything can happen. That's why it's hard to time this stock, when to buy, when to sell, because you can say, oh, I'm up a lot, I'm gonna take profit, and then the next day it just goes up another $1. So it's very hard to time it, but it does possibly look like it may take some resistance at $6.85 or $7. Look at these prices over here. Why are they spamming sixes over here? What's going on with that? 6.6 and then 6.65, 6.64, and all these sixes. Market makers playing games, I guess, again, right? Playing games like always. But yeah, that's where we're at after hours, $6.66. I saw that also on Friday. They were resistance was at $6.66 and $6.65. And now after hours, we're in the same spot, right? A little mixture of everything, buying, selling, a lot of selling right here. At the $6.65 area. But this is after hours, so a lot of this don't mean too much. I'm gonna take a quick look again at the other housing stocks, the builders. Their daily and weekly looks healthy. Lennar and DR Horton, it still looks healthy. The daily and the weekly looks healthy for DR Horton, so we'll have to see what happens with that. The daily looks like it's gonna go up some more on DR Horton, on the RSI, on the MACD. And this is what I was talking about right here. Opendoor could do this. This is what I was saying earlier. See how the MACD is turning red right here, and then it reversed, and it kept going up, and it's back green again. That's what Opendoor could do right there, and that'd be nice. And RSI is skyrocketing because people are buying housing, building stocks like crazy. That's RSI just going up. Lennar, same thing. ITB, same thing. ETF for housing stocks. So it's just a lot of money going into the housing stocks right now. It's a lot. And that's why it's hard for these housing stocks to go down. Even when the market is kind of bearish and going down, the housing stocks will go down to a certain degree. They'll use that opportunity to profit take, but it's only going to go down so much, in my opinion, because I read an article not too long ago, and they're saying the housing market isn't back yet, and they still haven't seen a nice uptrend as far as data. It's slowly going up as far as data, but it's not back yet. But they are saying this. They're saying that the housing market has bottomed out. Now, when you hear the word bottom out for big investors like Warren Buffett and all the huge investors that are investing in all these different stocks to make money, when they hear the word bottom out, that's a huge buy signal. That's what these big investors do. Once the stock bottoms out and they see potential for it to recover, they just putting money into the stock. What do you think happened to UNH, United Health? Stock not looking good, but it's down so much. They're finding an opportunity to buy some shares in it. And if it recovers, they're going to make a lot of money. Look at UNH right here. This is where a lot of investors bought shares right here when it was down. And the news came out and it just went up. So they bought around the 234 and now it's at 319. That's a lot of money. Imagine buying hundreds and thousands of shares right here at 234, and now it's at 319. And this is what we're talking about. When stocks bottom out, you got to find an opportunity to buy shares, especially if it's a recovery stock like Opendoor, Carvana, you name it. Recovery stocks are huge if you think it's going to come back. So UNH was at 234, right? What price was it at before it dropped? $621 UNH. And they bought a lot of shares at 234. Only way they don't make money from this buy is if this company disappears. And in my opinion, based on their investment, it's not going anywhere. And they made a lot of money. And even if it did, they already made their money already from 234 to 319. But I think it's going to keep going up. Do I like UNH? I don't really care about the company. But I'm just speaking on this because that's a huge opportunity, 234 to 319. And that's an example of how you have to find these stocks that go down and bottom out and also have a chance to recover. Like Opendoor, 50 cents. Now we're at $6 and something, right? $6.65. Same thing with Carvana. Look at that, $3.55. Straight up to $413. So that's what kind of investor I am. I look for stocks that bottom out and has a good potential to recover. That's what I look at. And if you want to join the Discord, it's in my link in the bio. And if you don't have Discord, just subscribe to the channel because soon I'll let you know of some stocks that could have potential similar to this, similar to Opendoor. Coming soon. Oh yeah, almost forgot. Let's check out that article real fast. It's not a big article. I just want to show you some things that were said over the weekend. It says the surge in Opendoor stock price has been further fueled by insider buying, with interim CEO Rod Hakrashina, I don't know, I'm not sure, might be wrong, purchasing shares, signaling confidence in the company's future. This move comes as Opendoor shifts its focus toward integrating AI into its platform, aiming to enhance its real estate services. The company's strategic pivot to AI is seen as a core component of its growth strategy, despite concerns about its current valuation and financial performance. So that's nice. They also said while the stock's recent performance has been impressive, analysts remain cautious. But it's okay. You want to remain cautious. That's understandable. But to me, in my opinion, I don't see the stock creating a downtrend until we see the earnings. There's no reason for this stock to actually go down until we see the next earnings, because all the news that is coming for Opendoor is all positive news. There's really no negative news that's going to come out for Opendoor. Everything that's happening with the economy, for as the cuts, is positive for Opendoor. And as I said before, remember, the housing industry has bottomed out. What can hurt Opendoor if we already bottom out? What can hurt the housing industry if we already bottom out? So when you're at the bottom, you can only go up from here, right? You can only go up from here. That's my opinion. But when the earnings come out, that's going to be huge when the earnings come out. But other than that, new CEO at some point, housing industry, rate cuts, Could be 0.25, could be 0.50. We could have more rate cuts than previously noted. What else? The government say they may create some kind of program in the fall to get people start buying houses again. So this is all positive news. I don't see any negative down the road at all for the housing industry. For Opendoor, like I said, when the earnings come out, we got to see that. We got to see what the earnings are going to be. Is it going to be bad? Is it going to be good? Or is it going to be not as bad as expected? What I'm looking for is not as bad as expected. Probably will be bad to a certain degree because, the housing market isn't back yet. So it's probably not going to be that great. But if we get earnings where it's not as bad as expected, Opendoor can go up even more. Go up even higher. If we get positive earnings, like huge earnings, like unexpected, like how did that happen? How did Opendoor do that? We're talking about a short squeeze. That's going to be a short squeeze right there. But if we get not as bad as expected, we may keep going up as we are right now, little by little. And either way is fine for me, short squeeze or little by little, either way. That's all I have for today, right? Monday is coming up soon. Monday will be here before you know it, and we're back. Opendoor Technology trading again. Monday, it may sell off a little bit for profit taking, or it could go up a little and then, come down some. Opendoor has a tendency to do that sometimes, to go up the first 30 minutes to an hour, then it started going down some. So we'll have to see what happens. But yeah, everybody, if you like what you hear, subscribe, because I make a lot of Opendoor content. You can see my video history. I make a lot of Opendoor content. And if you want to join the Discord, we have a lot of members in there talking about Opendoor. A lot of good news, a lot of information. Join the Discord. It's in my profile, and you just click on the link, and you're right in there. All right, everybody, take care.